So I've been using this little beast for about a week now, the standard Galaxy S23. I love it. I love it. It's such a fun phone to use. And for those of you who say, Mark, you're going to love the standard Galaxy S23, guess what? You're right. I have the Galaxy S23 Ultra and even the Galaxy S23 Plus, which is on the couch currently. It's just chilling. It's his day off. What do you expect? He's chilling on the couch. So the standard Galaxy S23. I love this phone so much more than I thought I would. The battery life is so insane, but we'll get into the battery life soon. So the first thing I love about the phone, of course, is the compact form factor. This, after using so many large phones, it's so nice every once in a while to just pick up a small phone, or, it's not really a small phone, it's, 6.1 inches, but in today's world, it's considered a small phone. It is so fun and so comfortable to use one-handed. But I do wish Samsung would finally put in stainless steel. I'm tired of aluminum. Yeah, it makes the phone light. Sure, maybe that's a bonus for one of you guys that like light phones. But the reason why I don't like aluminum, first of all, is because it's a very soft metal. It's very easy to dent. Hey, Mark, how do you know this? Well, I'm glad you asked. A few days ago, I was washing my car. I squatted down to wash the rims of my car. And then, of course, when you squat down, your thigh is higher than your hip. So the phone slid out of my pocket and landed on the concrete. It fell, no joke, less than a foot. So, give or take 6 inches, right? It fell 6 inches, and then I didn't have a case on it, of course. And I'll put up a screenshot right now, or actually a photo of how the phone looks like, and you can see actual dents from the pavement that went onto the aluminum frame. So of course, it's always a good thing to use a case with your phone, but this phone just feels so good in the hand, man. It's so good. It feels so good that I didn't really want to put a case on it yet, but I did order a case, so that's coming in soon. I'll definitely be using a case, and I recommend you do the same because aluminum is a very soft metal. I wish they used stainless steel like the iPhones do. I've dropped my iPhone many times, and it still scratches, of course, but it doesn't dent, which, is just speaking on the premium quality of iPhones versus Samsungs. So I know a lot of you want to know the battery life. So this shocked me completely. So it did increase by 200 milliamp hours compared to the old S22. So now we're at 4,800 or 4,900 milliamp hours. I'll put up a little thing right there. So it increased by 200 milliamp hours plus a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 for Galaxy, so it's a little bit overclocked, and the new cooling. So this phone actually has a vapor chamber, whereas the S22 had a graphite pad for cooling, which obviously is not as good as the vapor chamber. So all that together adds to amazing battery life. The heat is pretty much non-existent, so that means battery life, the actual battery capacity will be better as the years go on, but the battery life is amazing. I'm averaging 6.5 to 7 hours. I'll put up a screenshot right now showing you guys the screen on time and the usage, so you can go ahead and pause the video and take a look for yourself. But it's such a huge improvement over the S22 from last year. The S22 from last year, man, that phone got me like 4.5 to 5 hours, depending on what you're doing. So this phone getting me 6.5 hours is mind-blowing. That, just so you guys know, that's more than the iPhone 14 Pro that I have. That phone averages between 5.5 to 6. So that's pretty insane if you ask me. So I know a lot of you guys had questions about the battery. Maybe that's your deciding factor, and I get it. If you're going for a smaller phone, it's not really fun knowing that your battery life is gonna suck. But I'm so happy to report that the S22 handles, or the S23, I'm sorry, handles battery life like a champ. I love it. So yeah, the Galaxy S23 doesn't get all the bells and whistles as the S23 Ultra does, but this phone still packs a punch. Like I said, it is rocking that Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 made for Galaxy, which is overclocked compared to any other Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 out there, and that just adds to the performance of the phone. Now, obviously, I can't really show you guys how smooth the phone is except just doing this all over again. But that doesn't really tell you guys anything. This is something that you have to go to your electronics store, go to your carrier store, go to Best Buy, any place that sells phones, and you have to really test it out for yourself. I personally think it is smoother than the Pixel series, the Pixel 7 and the 7 Pro. A lot of people that own this phone, or even the S23 Ultra, are also saying that it's basically smoother than the Pixel lineup, and again, I do agree with that. I think this phone is one of the smoothest Android phones that I've ever tried out in my life. I played about an hour of Call of Duty Mobile on it. It did not get hot. It got warm, of course, because, hey, law of thermodynamics still exists in today's time, believe it or not. So yeah, the phone obviously will get warm, but it doesn't get hot. And again, there is a new setting on this phone and the S23 Plus and the Ultra where you can do battery bypass. So if you're playing a game and you're charging, the charge will not charge the battery. It will just power the phone, which creates less heat. And by the way, Samsung is again still running amazing deals on the S23. You can get this phone literally for free with some carrier deals. I'm going to have a link down below. And Samsung is also giving you $100 of credit to buy cases, accessories, stuff like that. So again, if you guys are interested, I'll go ahead and put a link down in the description and the pinned comment. So now let's go ahead and talk about the display. Of course, it's a Samsung panel we know and love. We know, okay? We just know. Anytime you hear Samsung panel, you already know it's going to be a fantastic panel, and this one is no different. Watching HDR movies on it, or playing games on it, scrolling the internet, whatever you're going to do, your experience will be fantastic. Now, the speakers of this phone are also no slouch. For a small device, the speakers are really good. Of course, they're not as good as the S23 Ultra. It's a much larger device, so the speakers are going to sound more full. But with the S22 from last year, the speakers sounded very tinny. It sounded like you're hearing the music from a Sprite can placed against your ear. You know what I mean? But this one, I'm surprised. It actually sounds like a nice full setup. Now, of course, like I said, it's not as full as the S23 Ultra, but for a phone of this size, of this thinness, speakers pack a punch. And by the way, just a heads up to you guys, if you are going to pick up the S23, I don't recommend the 128 gigabyte model. I recommend upgrading at least to 256 gigs. The reason is because if you go for 256 gigs or higher, you're getting UFS 4.0 storage speeds. Whereas if you get the 128, you're getting UFS 3.1. Now the difference is, okay, think about it in a way where you own a Ferrari, right? You own a Ferrari, but you're traveling down a 2-lane highway and it's full of traffic. Even though your car is super powerful, super fast, you can't really utilize that at the moment, right? But now imagine putting that same Ferrari on a 4-lane highway with not a lot of traffic. Now you can use that performance. So it doesn't matter how powerful your phone is if the storage speeds aren't really giving you that full performance, right? So UFS 4.0 is 2 times faster than 3.1 while being 40% more efficient. So you're getting twice the performance while also being almost 50% as efficient. Hopefully that made sense. So anyway, if you want the best performance, go for 256 gigs or higher. Now moving on to the cameras of the S23, they didn't really change much from the S22, but the actual software processing did. And as always, the photos look incredible. The sharpness isn't too sharp. And the consistency is also better when compared to the S22. The colors are great, the contrast is proper, and overall it just looks fantastic enough to post to social media without doing any extra editing. The video has also been slightly improved, with the phone now being able to shoot 8K 30 up from 8K 24, and the 8K video looks amazing, and it is definitely something I'll be using when I go on vacation and want to capture those special moments. The normal 4K mode also looks fantastic, but unfortunately you cannot change lenses while recording in 4K 60. So if you want to change maybe you start recording using the main camera, then you see some awesome architecture, you want to switch to the ultra wide camera, you cannot do that while recording. You have to stop recording, then switch to the ultra wide, and then hit record again, which is super weird because the Snapdragon chip is definitely powerful enough to do it. In fact, oddly enough, I think the only phone that can switch lenses while recording in 4K 60 is the Pixel 7 and the Pixel 7 Pro. So, yeah, who saw that one coming? I didn't. I've been more than happy with the Samsung Galaxy S23. The speed, the camera, the speakers, the cellular connection, the data speeds, the what else did I miss? The battery life. The battery life. It's so good. This phone, I feel like, I believe that it is the best, if not one of the best small phones. Again, I'm doing that in air quotes because it's not really a small phone. This is just so good. And if you can get it for free using those carrier deals, oh my God, it's a no-brainer. Even if you don't get it for free, this phone is worth every penny, even if you pay full price. No doubt about it. Now, of course, I'll make a more in-depth review as time goes on. This is just my 1 week kind of first impressions review of this phone. So far, literally, I cannot find anything that I don't like about the phone. Nothing. Everything just makes sense. It's fast, it's powerful, it's efficient, amazing cameras, amazing battery life. Everything is so good. I mean, I just can't stop smiling anytime I want to just pick up the phone. It's so good. So anyway, I'm gonna stop fanboying. I'm gonna let you guys decide if you are picking it up. Let me know the reason down below why you're picking it up, what storage you're getting. I just want to know what more people are kind of what they're going towards. Are you getting the S23 Plus? By the way, I did a comparison about that, so if you guys want, go watch it. I also did a comparison of the S23 Ultra. So let me know which phone you guys are picking up and why. And if you guys enjoyed today's video, definitely click that like button. It's completely free to you, but it helps me and the channel out a lot, and I always truly appreciate it. And if you are new here, consider subscribing. That's also free. And that's it. This was Mark from Mark's Tech. Adios.